Hello, and welcome to your brief tutorial on how to access the standards for your unique learning systems lessons. So a question that we get pretty often is, how do I know what standards I'm aligning my lesson to? And this is a really easy way to find those standards, and I hope that you find this helpful in your pursuit of making sure that you can post these standards, make your lesson plans. The great thing about unique learning systems is it is an evidence-based curriculum that has those lesson plans built in. So if you're looking for lesson plans to provide to your administration, or if you're looking for lessons plans that you might want to use for vertical alignment or deciding how you're going to push kids out for extended time with their typically developing peers, like those sorts of things, figuring out where they're at, what they're working on. It's a really, really great tool to make sure that you understand the lesson plan and the standards that align with the actual instruction that you're teaching. I want to start off by going to, and if you haven't been here, please go here. This is really, really important. It's a really, really great tool. It is our extensions program curriculum guide. So this is the curriculum guide for the extensions program for 2025-2026 school year. It has some important dates on that homepage, and then it also has your monthly lessons. When you click on those monthly lessons, you're going to see your monthly lessons. And here is going to be where you can access particularly the activities. Like it's like a pacing guide in a slides presentation, and it's going to help you make sure that you are hitting every single activity that is offered for the month that you're in. So let's use February as an example. We're just going to go ahead and use this math middle school lesson. Okay, so February, we have a math slides lesson. It's going to have everything built in here. Let's go ahead and go into slideshow mode so you can get the full experience. So on this first page here, you're going to see access to the pacing guide as well as the, second, let me click on it. Pacing guide as well as the lesson plans. All right, so this is your lesson plan for Unit 25. So for Unit 25, we know the standards that we're going to be doing, our I can statements, everything is built in here. It even has those unit topic words that are really great for making that connection between whether it's science or social studies. So this is going to give you that unit overview. This is, you saw on that homepage that I took a screenshot of this for the math or the reading. And it is going to give you the different differentiated task levels. It explains level 3, level 2, level 1. If you've been using ULS, then you understand that everything is broken up into those 3 levels for our students. And typically we do our whole group, our kind of standardized instruction at a level 2, and then we differentiate into like our small groups for our students who need that more intensive level at 1, our students who need to expand and push through to level 3. A lot of our kids are at that level 3 level. So it really just depends. And in our small group is where we really get a chance to differentiate, right? But it's different makeups at different schools. Sometimes we have schools that break up their bands into not necessarily grade bands, but they break them up into levels. So you might have ability grouping at your school, especially if you're in a secondary. So you might have all students who are at a level 1. And in that case, you might be teaching whole group at level 1. And then for your kiddos who are maybe in need of some expansion to level 2, like they're pushing through to level 2, and that's their maybe frustration level, but it's maybe their instructional level. Then when you get into your small groups, you're giving more intensive support to those level 1s at level 1, because that is the baseline level for it, is the floor for ULS. But then maybe you're expanding those activities to a level 2 for those students who can reach. So it's just a little breakdown of those different levels. Something you're going to see in here is the standards connection. So this is really important. This is something that I would recommend if you're looking for something to copy, to post, to give to your admin so they understand what we're doing here, how the instruction makes that connection. The standards connection is a great way to explain it. How are we hitting social studies standards? Well, every other month we go science, social studies, and unique learning systems. And of course, we do supplementary adaptations to materials, and that is done individually, right? Like we know that we have math and we have ELA that are given to us through unique learning systems, but it doesn't give a full curriculum for science and social studies. So that's something that we have to use our um, adaptive licenses and flex those muscles and make sure that we are adapting materials. But you guys also know that on our curriculum dashboard, we have lots of resources for that. So you'll find our generic lessons that cover basic concepts of like chemical and physical change, ecosystems, life cycles, like those sorts of things. And those are uploaded for you to choose from to give you like a starting off point. You add the different stories, you expand upon activities. So that is something that you can use as a tool. You also find social emotional learning lessons on that dashboard as well. So that's your making connections. And then it's going to pretty much take you activity by activity. And it's pretty intensive. Like it's a pretty intensive document. So this is one way you can do it. ULS has an option to be completely scripted. And the great thing about that is you can give a targeted activity to a teacher's assistant and it will tell them frame for frame. What are you going to say? Well, we're going to be revisiting the learning goals of students. So what is one way the character solved a problem? And it gives you even prompts of what you want the students to do. So at a level one, can the student identify one way the character solved a problem? How? What support was needed? At level two, can the student identify one way the character solved a problem? How? What support was needed? Like you're giving different prompting levels, different complexities, but you're looking for the same standard, the same skill. So the reason I point that out is because this is a great I can statement. I can identify, or I can identify one way the character solved a problem. That's a great I can statement. If this is the activity that you're doing, that's a great I can statement for that activity. So that is one way you can formulate your I can statements. I love those because are super student friendly, right? I can statements, especially for our students. And the great thing about ULS is it has them built in for you. So like if you want to come down and you're working on foundational reading, so you're working on the leveled book 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. If you're doing those are functional reading, like structured functional reading tasks. Your I can statement is I can read a text to get information. I can listen and talk about a text to gain information. Those are the standards that you're hitting. Those are based on the extended content standards that are covered in that lesson. I point this out to say that if you our students are so unique, right? So a lot of times I will see students that have personal boards like on their desk. They might have their very own special, I call them placemats, right? So if your student is visually impaired, they get overwhelmed by too much noise, like visual noise in the environment, and you don't want things posted on the walls. They're ripping them off, they're tearing them, they're erasing them, whatever it may be. Maybe your environment is not conducive to writing on a chalkboard. If you have a chalkboard, help you. But you know what I'm saying. Like, our environments have to be catered toward our kids. So if you're not in the type of room where you can write things on the board and it's going to stay there till the end of the day, okay, I have some solutions for you. May I recommend possibly the use of a wet erase marker instead of a dry erase marker? Wet erase markers or vis-a-vis markers are great because it makes it so the students cannot erase them, just kind of go up and get um, that immediate justification, like ratification of being able to just, it feels so good. It feels so good to just erase a letter, right? So that's an option. You can use a wet erase marker if you really want to write it on the board. Something else you can do is post it virtually. If you are teaching this lesson, so if you are doing level book 1.3, this is the activity you're doing, and you know this is the I can statement, build it into a slides presentation. You can put it on the board and you can even type it out. You don't have to have this stuff pre-planned. You should be saying your I can statement, right? It's a great thing to review before you do it. So what are we working on today? Today we are going to be starting our book. We're going to be reading our book. You could also follow this, right? You could follow the script, but I don't follow the script. So it really depends on what you want to do. So today we're going to be reading our book about, I don't know, ecosystems. And what's our I can statement? Can somebody tell me the I can statement? Maybe you record it on a voice output device, or you have a student who is a reader and you guys can say it together. I can read a text to get information about blank. and whatever it is, ecosystems. I can read a text to get information about ecosystems. I can listen to a text and talk about, whatever. You got what I'm saying, right? So that I can statement is going to switch depending on the activity you're doing. Now, here's the other thing too. Our I can statements and our standards based statements, so like our standards that are posted, are actually going to change based on the differentiated group. So a lot of times we find in ULS, and this is an evidence-based practice, that we're working on multiple things at once, right? So like you may be working on vocabulary with one small group, and you may be working on instructional foundational reading skills with the other group, right? That can happen. Those two things can happen at once. These lessons go for a month. These are month-long lessons, right? And this is an evidence-based curriculum. This is the curriculum that we use in CMS. This is a curriculum that is used pretty much, countrywide. This is what we use for the extended content standard course of study. So just accepting that as the reality, it's important to know that like we need to trust this process. This is an evidence-based curriculum. So trust the process. It seems like a lot of activities, but trust me, it really builds on itself and it makes sense. Once you get through a full month and hitting all these activities, you're going to see that you're getting the growth. Your pre and post test, your checkpoints, they're going to show you growth. And I think that you will be pleasantly surprised at how much you can get done if you follow their pacing guide and you follow their instructions, like as far as the stuff is concerned, the lesson plans. So that being said, this is one way you can do it. You can look at the lesson plan. I would definitely recommend doing it this way. But when it comes to finding the standards and just a quick find on the standards, you can also find them on the activities themselves. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's say let's come in here to a table of contents. It's week 3, day 1, and your activity is going to be activity 19A. So you're going to click on that, and then you're going to find you are going to find the activity 19A. So you'll go ahead and click on view activities. And when you click on the activities themselves, you are actually going to see the standard. So you can say show standard, and it's going to show you the actual standard. And it's also going to show you the alignment. So here is the North Carolina standard. That's the standard course of study standard. And here's the extended content standard that it aligns to. This is really important because it makes it a lot easier when you're talking about if you want to post a standard, like if you want a standard posted or your administration wants to know what standards you are teaching, this is a really easy way to say, hey, these are the standards I'm teaching. And if you need to pull that information for them. What I also recommend is providing your administration with the lesson plan and the pacing guide. And you can do that like I showed you at the beginning here. You can do that by opening this one, opening this one, and downloading these as PDFs so they understand what you're doing. This is a great document to download as a PDF and send to them. And that way they know it's really easy to navigate. So if they come on there here and they say, okay, week 3, day 2, these are the activities they're doing. 19B, they're doing numbers and computation. They can go into your lesson plan and they can see what that is. They're able to go ahead and pull the numbers and computation. So I hope that makes sense. So that is really how you can understand and explain to your building administration what you're doing and why you're doing it and the standards that you're hitting. So play around with this, get comfortable with it. If you have any questions about what you're teaching, how you're teaching, why you're teaching it, the alignment, the pacing guide, the lesson plans, if you have any questions about this, reach out to your extensions program, ECCT. We have so many tools to help you navigate this space that I feel you will find useful. And there are so many things that Unique Learning Systems offers as a suite within Everway. And If you feel like it doesn't have enough, I promise you, we can find you pockets that you're not accessing because there is so much in here. So I hope that this was helpful. And like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to your extensions program, ECCT, and we would love the opportunity to assist you more. Thank you.